I'm back. It's been a consecutive year since I first put a drone up over this specific pocket of Crescent City. If you look closely at the junction where Elk Valley Road meets Howland Hill Road, about a mile off Highway 101, you'll see a network of dirt and gravel paths disappearing into the thick canopy. Locals know this area as the Bertsch-Tract, or simply the swamps. But legally and historically, the county maps identify this crisis zone by another name, the Ruth Compound. I wanted to see what 12 months of county promises, thousands of dollars in Measure R tax allocations, and shifting policies actually look like from above. Last year, the visual narrative was one of unmitigated stagnation. This year, the county tried to enforce a physical intervention. But as we drop down from the clouds, it becomes very clear that drawing a line in the dirt doesn't change the survival instinct of the people living behind it. The layout here isn't random. It follows an old, unimproved grid of county collector streets that time and municipal infrastructure entirely forgot. We are looking down at the corridors of Union Street, Broad Street, National Boulevard, and Madison Avenue. For years, these public road right-of-ways became an open-air graveyard for stolen vehicles, rotting trailers, and dead RVs. The name itself belongs to Roy and George Ruth, two brothers who own the private parcels scattered back here. But the landowners themselves went before the Board of Supervisors to admit a stark reality. 90% of the people camping out here aren't even on their private deeds. They are squatting directly on the county's unpaved roads, buried under the blackberry bushes and low-hanging branches. There is no running water here. There is no electrical grid. No sewer lines have been permitted on these lots since a lone mobile home was torn down back in 1994. It is an intentional blind spot, a black hole of basic human infrastructure less than 2 miles from the ocean. If you drive down Elk Valley Road, you might miss the county's solution entirely. But skimming the canopy at 100 feet, the geometry of institutional defense comes into focus. Right here, near the intersection of Union Street and Iowa Street, is where the county dropped heavy concrete K-rail barriers and locked gates. They did it out of pure institutional exhaustion. In 2023 alone, the Del Norte County Sheriff's Office had to log 282 calls for service back here. Crescent City Fire and Rescue rolled out another 50 times to deal with toxic, burning plastics and exploding propane tanks. The county spent $50,000 to gate these roads, hoping to cut off the supply line of incoming junk and force a reset. But look at the footpaths bypassing the concrete. Look at the trash piles and the hidden structures tucked just beyond the steel locks. In psychology, an individual constructs defense mechanisms, walls to block out trauma, gates to keep reality hidden. The K-rails function the exact same way. They stop the trailers, but they don't heal the people. In fact, when an emergency happens, these very blockades end up obstructing medical crews from physically reaching a resident in crisis. Putting a barrier in front of a symptom never cures the underlying pathology. As we track the perimeter of this camp, the rumors on the street carry a heavy weight. This isn't just a gathering of the displaced, it's a volatile ecosystem. There have been reported homicides within these tree lines. There are persistent reports of a predatory black market operating in total destitution, where vulnerable people are allegedly being charged illicit rent just to park a broken trailer on a public right-of-way. Just across the tree line, a $10.8 million state-funded emergency shelter and micro-village is operating on Highway 101, designed specifically by local nonprofits to draw people out of these woods. But looking at the wear and tear of the compound today, it's obvious that building a door doesn't mean everyone can, or will, walk through it. Documenting this for a second year reveals a truth that won't make it into a municipal press release. Untreated neglect has a way of becoming a permanent baseline. The vehicles change, the faces rotate, but the stagnation remains stubborn. At what point do we stop calling Union and Broad Street a temporary encampment and start admitting it's a permanent monument to systemic failure?